and maybe you don't love wrestling, maybe you hate losing, all right, or some combination of those two. But like, here's the deal: you gotta, if you really want to be good at this thing, you gotta quit thinking about losing as being like a problem, right? A lot of people have status in here, whatever else, and you're worried about losing or this pressure that comes with what if you do lose or whatever. Nobody cares, dude. Like, it doesn't matter, okay? Anybody that's been around the game long enough, like, doesn't care. If they lose, they're like, yeah, dude, sweet, that was awesome. Even if somebody hits a home run, headlocks them when they're kicking, you're kicking this dude's butt and he saws you off with a headlock and pins you, like, sweet. He just lets you know that, like, hey, at some point your arm was long and your head was up, right? Or maybe you don't know how to get off your back real good, or maybe you're out of shape or something. Like, they're just highlighting weak points, right? You should, like, you got to have a value. You got to learn to value and appreciate, like, exposing your flaws, exposing your weaknesses. That's how you get better. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people show up with anxiety because they're terrified of, like, dude, what if I lose? Like, golly, man. Like, dude, I'm up 2 weights. Like, I can't go wrestle on Saturday. Like, what if I freaking get beat by somebody that's not as good as me? Like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are a year away from whatever thing that y'all try to define your season with and being a state champ. Like, nothing else really matters. I would say that doesn't matter. The thing that matters is, like, how you do at nationals. The thing that matters is how much you come to practice. Because when, like, one of my college coaching buddies calls me and says, hey, dude, who are the best kids in Alabama? They're not really asking who won state. 42 people won state. They don't want 42 people on their team. Their roster's not going to be 42 people deep. They don't care about that. They want, like, they're like, oh, cool, yeah, he's good. Nick Smith's good. Corey Land's good. Sweet. What are his training habits like? How much does he go to practice? What's he doing every July? Well, he's at practice 4 days a week. 4 days a week in July? Oh yeah, he does it. He doesn't. If he misses, like, I get a phone call about it. That's what they care about. That's the and look, like, those things don't happen by chance. You know what I'm saying? All right. The low hanging fruit. I want to say this too. The low hanging fruit is to brag on this guy a little bit, okay? Because he's so successful. He made a world team. A couple years undefeated now. That's kind of low hanging fruit. Most people watch him wrestle. Dude, he's so good. And so I go out of my way not to brag on him, okay? I got to be honest, man. You don't know what's impressive about that guy? He's super average athlete. He's not, like, overly smart. He's not from, like, a wealthy family, right? Like, his dad's not worth millions and millions of dollars or any of those things. But, dude, that kid right there comes to practice more than anybody that I've ever coached ever. Anybody I've ever coached ever. I would say more than anybody ever in the history of Alabama wrestling. And that's why he's the only person to ever make a world team. All right? There was some guy who had something to say the other day. This doesn't know anything. He was talking about, like, who the best wrestler is and basically saying that he wasn't. And the dude's just being a naysayer. He's being like a fan, okay? This guy coaches wrestling, and I got tagged in it, whatever else, and I just started laughing. I was like, what an idiot. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Like, I kind of assumed this guy knew wrestling, and then he started, like, running his mouth, saying much stuff on the internet, which is what anybody that's not good at their job does. Anybody that's not real good at this wrestling thing is just going to talk about it on the internet, right? And dude, I wanted so badly to just step up and defend that guy because I was like, bro, he was at practice today, and he texted this guy yesterday who didn't want to wrestle in the state finals in the second period. Like, the guy was trying to stall and got teched in the second period. And by the way, like, I mean, he's lost 2 matches in 4 years or something like that in America. Like, dude, you want to know how you do that stuff? I get parents all the time, and they mention this thing, Corey Land. I want my kid to be like Corey Land. And it amazes me because, like, all you guys, some of you guys here are more talented. Like, you're definitely all better looking than him, you know what I'm saying, okay? Some of you are taller and whatever else. But, like, bro, he's better wrestling than everybody because he works harder than everybody else. He comes to practice when nobody else does. And if he can't be at practice, he calls me or Coach Ricky or Coach Mark or somebody and says, dude, I don't have a ride. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on the other side of town. I can't get you. Call so-and-so. And, like, he finds a way to get here. All right? And so, like, again, I don't brag on him really ever. It's kind of my job to keep him humble and kick his butt. All right? But, like, dude, you don't know how to be special, right? Like, freaking come to practice, dude. That is the thing. Value getting better. Who cares if you win or lose or whatever else, okay? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. You got to learn to appreciate and value, like, getting better at your craft, being a professional in your preparation, being consistent in your training, those things, dude. If you do those things, I promise, one day you'll get to say, like, dude, I had an undefeated season. I'm a state champ. Somebody else will be talking about you on the internet, trying to say that you're not as good when you won, okay? And when you do that, I would say you made it, okay? I'll finish with one thing, and I think about this all the time. Kevin Dresser, who's the head coach at Iowa State right now, I think he might be the highest paid coach in America right now, as far as just college coaching, wrestling. maybe not, but he's definitely like top 3. He coached at Virginia Tech and made their program relevant. Okay, and he was. I've been fortunate enough to be around him a couple of times in conversation, and he was talking about when he coached high school in Virginia, and he's talking about people talking bad about you and somewhere else, and he said, he like there was kind of this like yang going on about coaches and who's talking trash and whatever else, and he just cut the conversation off. He said, dude, if people aren't talking bad about you yet, you're not kicking their butt bad enough yet. And I was like, I kind of stopped and looked at him, and it was like it replayed in my mind like I rewound and watched it 3 times like it was a movie, and I was like, holy crap, dude, like that was the realest thing ever, because in Virginia he was destroying people in high school. I mean, he was like, I don't know how many years he went without losing a match at Christiansburg High School before he became the head coach at Virginia Tech, and he took this ACC team that was terrible and made them really good, and now he's the head coach at Iowa State. And by the way, Iowa State, who was terrible despite having a history of wrestling, okay, it was like Alabama in the Mike Price days. Like, he made them relevant. He's freaking Nick Saban in college coaching of wrestling. You understand what I'm saying? He's a bad dude. He said, if people aren't talking bad about you yet, you're not kicking their butt bad enough. And I was just like, holy snot, that is real, okay? And so that's wrestling. That's wrestling. I don't know about baseball. I don't know about soccer. I don't know about basketball. I don't know how that works. But if you're kicking people's butt in wrestling, they'll absolutely start talking bad about you. All right? Not because you're a bad sport. They'll try to find something like you didn't shake hands correctly, or like you flexed when you won, or you did a backflip, like, which there's nothing wrong with any of those things, right? But they'll find something like that they think matters because you're kicking their butt pretty freaking bad. And that, listen, I'm going to be honest, that's kind of the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the goal, okay? I'm really proud of you guys, man. Great job today. Okay, we ran a little over. Appreciate you guys all making it out today, man. Bad weather, bad traffic, all the things, and you guys all made it here. That's big time. Big practice tomorrow night in Chelsea. Chelsea campus going to be rock and rolling tomorrow night, and then we're back here on Thursday, okay? Get it in, shake and bump somebody. Let's get out. What's up?
Saturday, pre-reg, pre-weigh-in here Thursday night.
Yeah, talk about it all. We're in the game. Let's get it. 1, 2.